No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for September 18th, 2023. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support. Now, with that being said, let's get right into this Raw recap from Salt Lake City, Utah. I drove through Salt Lake one time back in the day. Nice area. We opened up Raw with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He cut a promo and he wanted to talk about Jey Uso. But before he could really say much of anything, Dominik Mysterio, his opponent, interrupted, brought up how Rhea Ripley was injured by Nia Jax, and he is going to dedicate his victory to her, to mommy. Cody Rhodes responded by saying that he feels Dominik is more into Rhea Ripley than Rhea Ripley is into Dominik, and feels that Rhea Ripley has eyes for Jey Uso. Dominik said it wasn't true. Family always has each other's backs, and he brought out the rest of Judgment Day. Of course, Rhea Ripley not there, but Damian Priest and Finn Balor came down for the match, which was Cody Rhodes versus Dominik in a rematch from Money in the Bank. Dragon Lee from NXT was at ringside, and they did announce for next week it will be Dominik defending the North American Championship against Dragon Lee. Now, Finn Balor was interfering. He pulled Cody Rhodes off the apron. Cody, though, quickly recovered and beat Dominik in a fairly quick match. He hit a cutter, the Cody cutter, and then got the win with the Crossroads. I mean, it was more of a squash match than the Money in the Bank match. Afterwards, Judgment Day was about to attack, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn ran down to make the save. And I was thinking to myself, how nice are these guys, considering at Payback, when they were in trouble, Cody Rhodes, despite being in the building, was nowhere to be found to help them. But they're nice. They're nicer than him. They come out to help him. And Owens, however, said that he needed to talk to Cody. After the commercial break, Owens basically said he's not happy that Cody brought Jey Uso to Monday Night Raw, and he wanted to know why. Cody explained that Jey Uso is one of the best in the world and deserves a second chance. I'm sure a lot of people are going to read into that line and think that that is some sort of clue that CM Punk is coming to WWE. Best in the world, deserves a second chance. Interesting. Could mean nothing, though. Could have been totally a coincidence. Anyways, Cody also brought up how the Bloodline is down a member and what's bad about that. Zayn agreed and said that because Owens gave Zayn a second chance, they got to win the tag team titles. And Owens was like, whatever. He said he'll just pretend that Jey Uso didn't screw all three of them at some point, and said he'll trust them and he hopes that they are right. We had a video package of Nia Jax making her return last week in the main event. We had our match between Kofi Kingston and Ivar. Now, this was originally supposed to be a tag team match, New Day versus Viking Raiders, but Eric was not cleared, so it became a singles match. Match was pretty good here. Crowd was into it. They were cheering on Kofi when he was in trouble. Ivar came off the apron with a splash on the floor and then got Kofi back in the ring, went for another splash, but Kofi avoided it. Kofi Kingston hit the SOS, but Ivar kicked out. Kofi then hit the boom drop, went for the tip, the trouble in paradise, but Ivar was able to avoid it. And then Valhalla instructed Ivar to go up top for the moonsault. He did, and despite taking a lot of time for it, he still managed to hit the move. Kofi, former WWE champion, did kick out. Valhalla was very upset. She was screaming, and Kofi hit a sunset flip power bomb out of the corner and then did pick up the victory with the tip, the trouble in paradise, and got the 1-2-3 victory. Kofi Kingston, former WWE champion, picks up a big win here. Like I said, good match. Ricochet was interviewed backstage for his match against Shinsuke Nakamura. Basically, he doesn't want to be a pawn in this feud between these guys, and he's gonna take care of Nakamura. But before the match could even get started, the world champion Seth freaking Rollins came down to the ring. Officials had to try and keep Seth away from Nakamura. Nakamura was running away, and then we finally had our match. Nakamura took a cheap shot as the referee was trying to separate Nakamura and Ricochet. Ricochet briefly fought back. Shin regained the upper hand for a while, but was a little bit too arrogant, and Ricochet started to make a comeback. They went to the outside of the ring. Nakamura, in an act of desperation, grabbed a steel chair. Ricochet was upset. He took the chair and he hit Nakamura with the chair, causing a disqualification. And then Ricochet argued with the referee, saying Nakamura grabbed the chair first, but he did not use it. Nakamura then hit Ricochet from behind and then took the chair and started hitting Ricochet in the leg with the chair. Seth Rollins returned. They fought in the ring, and then Nakamura ended up giving Rollins a back body drop on the chair. They kept fighting, though. Rollins kept fighting, and then officials tried to break them up. Nakamura then took Rollins and slammed him back first onto the announce table, further injuring the back of Seth freaking Rollins. They did the usual DQ finish, but I thought the angle was fairly good. I still don't really have any interest in seeing these guys wrestle again. I kind of agree with TJS. Like, especially when it's a guy you know is not beating Rollins. Balor did not beat Rollins when it actually would have made some sense. Nakamura is not winning that title. So I really have little interest in seeing Seth Rollins versus Nakamura again. But I will say it was a pretty decent angle. Then we had Chelsea Green backstage with Piper Niven, and Chelsea was like their best friends now. And Piper said, "Where is she from?" She wanted Chelsea to answer where Piper's from. And Chelsea did not know. She wasn't sure if it was England or Ireland or Florida. There you go. Chelsea Green thinking Florida is a country. And Piper was just, as you can imagine, disgusted. We had a tag team match. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, the tag team champions, against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Surprisingly, Chelsea got in some offense on Stark. And Piper Niven worked over Stark. Shayna Baszler got into the mix, but then as Shayna and Piper were fighting on the outside, guess who showed up? Nia Jax, the irresistible force, continuing her rampage. She attacked everybody. Everybody got laid out, and Nia got some revenge on Shayna from a couple years ago, gave her the bonsai drop. I think they're calling it the Annihilator. Get it? Nia, Annihilator. And then Nia talked into the camera and said that she's putting the women's division on notice. They're basically sacrificing the women's tag team division so Nia Jax can end up jobbing out to Rhea Ripley. I mean, it is what it is, the women's tag division. Poor Shayna, like, she should be going for the title, not Nia Jax. She ran Ronda Rousey out of WWE, and now she's just getting beat up by Nia Jax. I mean, whatever. Did not really care about this segment. Like, the women's tag segments, the whole division, in my opinion, just is really on its last legs. And I've been saying it for years now, like, they need to reboot the women's tag division, and it's just dying a very slow and painful death. And there's like no crowd heat. Like, you watch this segment, crowd was actually pretty good this week, but they were dead for this segment. Like, they did not care about the women's tag matches, and this one in particular. We had Chad Gable interviewed backstage. Well, not really interviewed. He was talking to Adam Pearce, and he wants one more shot at Gunther. Pearce said that Gable has to earn his opportunity. And then Bronson Reed showed up, told Gable it's back of the line, and Gable challenged Reed to a singles match. Before the match, though, we had Jey Uso talking backstage, and Damian Priest approached him, wants him in Judgment Day, says they can be the family Jey has been looking for his whole life. He wants an answer, though, by the end of the night. We then had Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. Reed was dominating the match earlier. Gable made a comeback after the commercial break, did his top rope headbutt, but Reed kicked out. Reed avoided Chaos Theory, went for a senton. Gable got his knees up, but in the process hurt his knees, and he was unable to lift up Reed. Reed took down Gable and then went up top, delivered the tsunami, and got the 1-2-3 victory over Gable. Interesting. Does not look like Gable is getting his rematch in the near future, which I thought was the direction here. And more on the IC title picture in just a moment. We had Tommaso Ciampa talking about how he's been playing the long game. He's been waiting. Patience is not a virtue. He says he has to create his own opportunities, and Gunther has what he wants. Looks like Ciampa now is going after Gunther, and Gable is, in fact, in the back of the line. So are they delaying this match to Survivor Series, to Royal Rumble, or is Chad Gable's push over? I really hope it's the former, but I have a feeling it's the latter, unfortunately. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. I would not be shocked if this is the end of Gable's push. I mean, I suppose Ciampa's just a filler opponent, but I feel like they're moving on. I really do. Maybe not. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But I figured they were just going to do Gable versus Gunther at Fastlane and have Gable win the title. But we'll see. We had video footage shown of Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton on NXT. Becky Lynch won the NXT title. And then Jey Uso confronted Kevin Owens backstage Owens still doesn't buy that Jey Uso's on the up and up, thinks Jey is going to join Judgment Day. Sami Zayn was trying to calm things down, and Owens presumably left the building. Becky Lynch came to the ring, talked about how you have to take advantage of opportunities while you can. She wants to defend her championship in an open challenge. Natalya answered, and Becky wasn't exactly on board with this because she was thinking more of like an up-and-comer getting the opportunity against Becky in the NXT title. But Natalya said that she's been there 15 years. She's not going to keep waiting for opportunities. And she said that Becky went to NXT and took an opportunity from a young NXT talent and thus is a hypocrite. Natalya shoved Becky, and that led to Becky accepting the match. There you go. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Walter. Much appreciated. Says, no disrespect to Natty. She's a great talent, but I was disappointed when it was her and not Jade. I do feel like that was teased purposely, though. I never expected Jade to be on this show. Like, if she shows up, I think it will be in a few weeks, if that. But I feel like it's more likely she goes on SmackDown and is involved with Bobby Lashley's group. I mean, that's what I'm expecting at this point. She could show up on Raw, but I feel like SmackDown's a better fit, and you can either pair Jade with Bianca or have them feud. I just feel like Jade will more than likely show up on SmackDown. But yeah, I wasn't really expecting her to be on this show, but maybe after a few weeks, a few open challenges, she does show up. So we had this match, and it was all right. Not anything special. Pretty basic. Natalya did get in some offense. Becky was able to counter the sharpshooter, and Natalya hit a discus clothesline. Becky kicked out, of course. Natalya did escape a disarmor, and then they kept reversing each other's pin attempts, and Becky got the upper hand and pinned Natalya 1, 2, 3. Not much else to say about it. I suppose this will be a thing. Maybe Becky Lynch will have some more open challenges, and perhaps in a couple weeks, it'll be Jade. I mean, I would definitely not rule it out. We had Dominik Mysterio talking to Adam Pearce, upset that Nia Jax has not been punished for hurting Mommy. And then Dragon Lee got in Dominik's face, and Dominik said that he doesn't like guys with masks because it reminds him of his deadbeat dad. That match is coming up next week. And then we had Giovanni Vinci versus Tommaso Ciampa. Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, was watching backstage. Ciampa got the upper hand and exposed his knee, but then Ludwig Kaiser got on the apron. That allowed Vinci to take advantage. He could not get the win, though, and then he tried a springboard move, got caught with a knee. Ciampa then applied a submission move, which they're calling the Sicilian stretch, and that was it for Vinci. And I guess Ludwig Kaiser is next. Like, I get it. They're trying to build up Ciampa as the next challenger, but didn't they already do this with Gable, where Gable beat Vinci one week and then he beat Kaiser the other week before he gets the match with Gunther? And now it's just rinse, wash, repeat, basically. I mean, it's kind of a lackluster way to build a challenger. Like, they could have maybe done like a fatal four-way match or something like that. This guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, again, open challenge matches are overdone. Becky, thumbs down. I think Becky being the champ right now is just something for her to do. I am confident that it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Maybe it'll be in Australia. They got that big show coming up, which is rumored to be the February premium live event. That could be where they do the match, or maybe they do the match there and then a rematch at WrestleMania. But I suspect the big first quarter 2024 women's title feud is going to be Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. And right now, Becky Lynch just needs something to do. So they got her with the NXT title so she can say she held every title. We had Seth Rollins interviewed backstage, and he said he's in a lot of pain and he's losing his mind. He is fed up with Nakamura. He told Nakamura, name the time, name the place, and he can even name the stip. So what would you guys go with? If you were booking this storyline, what match would you do for this that would be interesting? Like, I'm not even sure what you would do that would favor Nakamura. I don't know. I guess we'll see what he comes up with. I mean, they'll probably just do something generic like a street fight or something like that. TJS says an eye for an eye match. There you go. Calvin Bowman says tables match. Maybe they could do that. Last man standing match from Jerry. Matthew said maybe an Iron Man match. Yeah. I mean, what would be a good match where you could do damage to the back? Maybe a tables match. TJS says a choppy or PP match. There you go. We had our main event of the evening, which was Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. They had a stare down, and it was a back and forth match. And of course, Judgment Day showed up. And after the break, Drew delivered a superplex to Jey, but Jey recovered from that, hit a Samoan drop, went for the cover. Drew kicked out. Drew was on the verge of perhaps winning with the Claymore, but Judgment Day interfered. Jey regained the upper hand, and then Jey was not sure what he was doing next. Damian Priest got on the apron, started talking to Jey, trying to motivate him, and then Jey gave Priest his answer. Jey super kicked Damian Priest, super kicked Finn Balor and Dominik Mysterio, but then McIntyre out of nowhere with the Claymore got the 1-2-3 victory. Jey Uso has made his decision. He is not joining Judgment Day. And after the match was over, Drew McIntyre left. Judgment Day started beating down Jey, and Drew saw this happening, but did nothing. So this seems to be a little bit of the heel turn tease. McIntyre did not come to Jey's aid. He just stood there and let it happen. Cody Rhodes, though, came down and helped out Jey, cleared the ring, and then helped up Jey as Monday Night Raw went off the air. Show was okay. I was kind of bored with parts of it, but I do like the Jey Uso storyline, and I did think that the ending was pretty strong. I like the tease of the Drew McIntyre heel turn. That stuff was well done, enough to bump up Raw a little bit, but outside of the main event stuff, I felt like it was a very average Raw. So I'm going with a C+. And the plus is due to the Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn story. Otherwise, Raw was maybe a C at best. Like, it was just an okay show. It felt like we got a B pay-per-view coming up. We got football competition. It's just, let's go out there and just do our standard show. We're not going to take any chances. We're not going to do some crazy angle. Like, it was just a random episode of Raw. And like TJS said, they're overdoing the rematches. Like, we need some fresh matches. I wish the women's division, especially for the women's tag team titles, felt like a bigger deal. There's a lot of stuff they can work on right now as far as some of the mid-level acts go. But the main event stuff, very solid. Definitely intrigued about Drew McIntyre and what's next with this. I definitely think the heel turn is the right call for Drew McIntyre. Long overdue as far as I'm concerned. I don't see Champa beating Gunther, so to me that's just another filler program, and not really sure what they're doing with Gable. So yeah, I do have some questions about the directions, but all in all, it was a decent show. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and I do want to let you guys know that Tuesday night this week, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, I am coming back with a new edition of No DQ&A video live Q&A. Your questions, you can email them to me at nodqmisc@gmail.com. And of course, you can super chat questions live. The super chats take priority. Make sure you guys tune in live. It'll be a fun Q&A as they always are. I'll go about an hour or so, answer your questions. We'll talk various topics from any wrestling area you want to talk about. Tune in, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your week. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.